This is my wish for the world, that peace would find its way to every boy and girl.
This is the time for harmony. Let love be the song that everybody sings. Fill the air with joyful noise. Ring the bells and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Lift your light and let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth.
I hear the sweetest sound, the sound of hope to come. Together we could bring goodwill to everyone. Let it start with you. Let it start with me. Let every nation rise and sing this melody. Fill the air with joyful noise. Ring the bell and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Lift your light and let it shine.
Let it shine, shine, shine.
Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth.
Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father. Brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Harmony.
Fill the air with joyful noise. Ring the bells and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth.
Let your light and let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine.
Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine, shine, shine.
Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace. Let there be peace on earth.
And let it begin with me.
Good morning. I'm Gina Whitaker, and I'm your worship associate this morning. It's my joy to welcome members and visitors of all ages, those connecting online, and those here in the sanctuary. I'd like to share a personal note for just a moment with you. On Christmas Day, a young woman died. Her name was Rhiannon Smith. I didn't know this woman. No mention was made of her cause of death in the Facebook announcement of her passing. But scores of people posting condolences and memories of her made one thing perfectly clear. Rhiannon was dedicated in every way to Unitarian Universalism. Rhiannon worked for justice and inclusion at every juncture of her short life. She was a UUA staff member and an avid member of Drum. She was a woman of color who understood the real work of anti-racism at a personal level. She showed up everywhere to support, strengthen, and love so many leaders and followers of our faith. Her death is being deeply, deeply mourned across such a wide swath of Unitarian Universalism. It brought me to this realization: we matter. Unitarian Universalism matters. Our faith is far-reaching, ever-encompassing, life-giving, and life-saving. Rest in peace and power, Rhiannon Smith, and may we honor your memory with our continued work for justice and joy. And now, if you want to take a minute to greet those around you, it may be essential. It is so good to be together. We begin each of our services by acknowledging the devastating impact of colonialism on this country, understanding that all of us are located on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of indigenous communities. We respect the history and culture of these communities and all Native Americans as America's first peoples. We would like to extend a special welcome to our visitors this morning. We're delighted you chose to be with us today and invite you to stay after the service for some informal conversation. If you're here in person, you may gather in our social hall out those doors where there will be coffee today. Or if you're online, you may stay after to have conversation with others that are online. Those visiting online are welcome to stay after the service for conversation. And I will mention that we almost didn't have coffee today, but we had someone signed up and she came and she's out there getting the coffee ready, so enjoy the coffee. But also realize, as our president has notified us, that we don't have any people signed up for the near future. So please consider helping out in the coffee area. We invite visitors here in the sanctuary to fill out the green visitor form in the pews. These can be placed in the offering basket later in the service. Visitors online are encouraged to fill out the visitor form on our website, UUSLO.org, at the bottom of the main page. If you have questions about the congregation or about Unitarian Universalism, our membership director, Larry Equinta, is not here today, but Chris Barber. And is there someone else, Chris, that will be with you? Yeah, there we go. Jamie and Chris will be available after the service at the newcomers table in the social hall, or you may contact Larry at membership.uuslo@gmail.com. We encourage everyone to greet someone you don't recognize after the service. Once again, a warm, warm welcome to all. Today's chalice lighting is by Leslie Takahashi. All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the edge of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share. We light our chalice today for all that we aspire to create.
Good morning. I am Rod Richards. I am proud and pleased to serve as minister of this congregation, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you all today. Let's sing the doxology. The words are printed in your order of service, or you may follow the words on the screen.
An end is where we're starting from. To leave means we must first have come. To come means leaving where we've been. We're starting out from being in.
I have to tell you, when I sent that out, Allison replied and said, the doxology is interestingly convoluted. I love that assessment.
Our minister is interestingly convoluted, too. Today's call to worship is from Singing the Living Tradition, number 429 by William Schultz. Come into this place of peace and let its silence heal your spirit. Come into this place of memory and let its history warm your soul. Come into this place of prophecy and power and let its vision change your heart. Come, let us worship together.
And now let us sing. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing number 221, Light One Candle, in our gray hymnal, or you may follow the words on the screen.
Light one
I would like to now invite the children to come forward, and our Director of Religious Exploration, Janet Murphy, has a story for you all. Good to have you here. Come on up. Very good. That's excellent. Come on up. Hi, welcome.
Good morning, everyone. You might notice some of us are still extra cozy this morning. Since it's our 5th Sunday, we typically go to the park, but because it's wet and kind of dreary out there, we are staying here and having a pajama party in RE today. So we got to get up and leave our pajamas on this morning. So our story today is a story that brings together 2 winter celebrations. One is honored in red and green, as you see around our sanctuary, and the other is honored in blue and white, which we've added for this particular Sunday. So the title of this story is Red and Green and Blue and White, and I'm going to read it up here, and it's also going to be up on your screen. So here we go. So you all up here can either watch on the screen or watch here in my hand as I turn the pages. Whoops. Helps if I get it set. Sorry, Tom. By the way, Tom and I are doing something we haven't done before. We're trying to coordinate in a way we don't normally do. So we'll see how it goes here. On a block dressed up in red and green, one house shone blue and white. Isaac helped his family decorate their big window for Hanukkah. Across the street, his best friend Teresa helped her family trim their Christmas tree.
Stand by.
Shall I go on, or do you want to try?
Yeah, you can go on. I'll try to match you.
Okay. Isaac wrote poems. His poem says, colors, berries, pine, sky, snow, colors everywhere I go. And Teresa made art. They both loved playing in the snow, counting down to the holidays, 6 nights till Hanukkah, 23 days till Christmas, and thought you couldn't have too many sprinkles on your cookie. We're going to have sprinkles in our hot cocoa this morning. When it got dark, Teresa flipped the switch and her house glowed red and green. Across the street, Isaac lit his family's decorative menorah, and his house glowed blue and white menorah light. Later, when it was dark and everyone was asleep, shadows approached Isaac's house. Smash! The window shattered. A stone, shards of glass falling, and Isaac, wide awake, watched their menorah flicker out. Yeah. Evie says, The adults talked and talked. You'll sleep in our room for now, they said. Isaac's mom asked, should we light the menorah again? If they didn't, Isaac knew it would be like hiding. They were Jewish, and that didn't feel right. The next night, Isaac lit the menorah and thought through the new window, his house glowed. Across the street, Teresa watched the menorah come on and let out a breath she hadn't known she was holding. She took out paper and markers and drew for Isaac. See what she drew? She drew a menorah just like his in his window. When she was done, Teresa added 2 words and put the drawing up in the window. Though the paper, the light shone blue and white. Isaac saw the drawing and ran outside, blue and white menorah light from 2 homes tonight. The idea grew. With more drawings, their friends joined in. Then their school, and then their library, and hopefully their church too. Local stores joined in, and restaurants and clubs. It was on TV and in the newspaper. 3 weeks after Isaac and his family stood tall, and Teresa and her family stood up by their side, their whole town was dressed up to celebrate the true spirit of the holidays, the true meaning of community. From more than 10,000 windows came Christmas tree, red and green, and menorah light, blue and white, stronger together, shining bright. And that's the end of our story this morning. What you guys think? Did you like that? Yeah. Nice how everybody came together, wasn't it? Okay, we are off to have some sprinkles and some pajama fun in RE. Thank you all for joining us.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth unto the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace, as you go your way in peace.
I was thinking about the light. Tom and I got here this morning sometime before 9 o'clock, and at 9:10, I believe, all the lights went out in the building. All the power in the building went out. So we scrambled a bit, and Tom called up Joe and figured out how to get the lights back on. And I was looking at our Hanukkah lights, and it's evident that those candles may not last the service. And I was looking at the chalice light, which needs a little more wick. It's sort of struggling. And it made me think about the light that we carry in a greater sense, and all that it takes to keep that light aflame. And like Gina shared in the welcome, the importance of keeping that light alive. And the way that we come together to do that is powerful and important. And we maintain some sacred flexibility with the details, but the bigger picture is profoundly important to one another and to this world. So thank you all. And we have set aside this time in our service to share with each other those milestones that are most deeply felt in our lives, or those joys or sorrows that we carry that we wish to share with the wider community. And this is from Marie Moore. I have a joy that my spouse Elaine is doing her first day as a greeter. Yay! I love it. Thank you, Elaine, and thank you, Marie. And this is from Sheridan Cole. I am proud of my husband, Jim Crawford, who dutifully picks up trash voluntarily for the city of San Luis Obispo weekly. So, if you see a man wearing a big hat and colorful vest, carrying a picker-upper, don't know what they call that, she says, walking the streets and hanging around the railway station looking for trash, and toot your horn and wave. But don't throw anything out the window. Not that anybody here would ever do that, but thank you, Sheridan, and thank you, Jim. Let's take a few moments just to be together in silence, to hold those joys that were spoken and those joys and sorrows and concerns that remain unspoken. Let's send up a prayer for the healing of pain and open ourselves to a renewed awareness of and commitment to the truly awesome power of love within and beyond this community. Our community outreach offering recipient for the remaining days in December is the Minister's Discretionary Fund. This fund is used to provide confidential financial assistance to individuals in need within the congregation and in the wider community. Just a reminder to members and friends of the congregation, if you are in need of financial assistance, it is more than okay to contact me and request help from this fund. The generosity that all of you who donate to this fund express to the recipients, let me tell you, it is appreciated. And in addition to the money, it is knowing that you all see them, that you have compassion for what they are going through. I bring their thanks back to you along with my own. It is and has been over these many years an honor to be the agent of your generosity and an honor to receive the thanks that is meant for all who donate to this fund in whatever amount works for you. If you wish to donate to this fund in the offering today, please mark COO on your memo line of your check. You can give online through our website to the Community Outreach Fund throughout the month of December, and it will also be directed to the Minister's Discretionary Fund. And here is the giving page on our website, which shows the various funds to which you can target your donations. At the bottom of your order of service is a QR code that will take you directly to that giving page. If you have any questions about your pledge payments or donations, please do contact the office. Generosity is central to who we are and what we do together, and so we make time each week for an offering from our abundance to sustain this gathering and to strengthen the work of love that grows from our commitment to each other, to the wider community, and to the world. Please join with me in the words for the offering. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together, we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. The offering will now be given and received.
Today's reading is from Ellen Goodman's final column as a syndicated columnist in January of 2010. There's something fitting about writing my last column on the first day of a new year. January, after all, is named for the Roman god of beginnings and endings. He looked backward and forward at the same time. So this morning, so do I. Looking forward and backward, it's never easy to know the right moment to step onto that next stage. There's a trick to a graceful exit. It begins with the vision to recognize when a job, a life stage, a relationship is over, and to let it go. It means leaving what's over without denying its validity or its past importance in our lives. It involves a sense of future, a belief that every exit line is an entry, that we are moving on rather than out. It's hard to recognize that life isn't a holding action, but a process. It's hard to learn that we don't leave the best parts of ourselves behind. We own what we learned back there. The experiences and the growth are grafted onto our lives, and when we exit, we can take ourselves along quite gracefully. Here ends the reading.
Build up the bonfire, now the seasons turn. Welcome in another year and let the old one burn. Build up the bonfire, light the candles bright. All the hungry spirits will be coming by tonight. Light the bonfire, another year has flown. Gather friends around you, don't spend the night alone. Sweep out the courtyard to greet the coming year. Lay a handsome table, your visitors are here. Build up the bonfire, now the seasons turn. Welcome in another year and let the old one burn. Build up the bonfire, light the candles bright. All the hungry spirits will be coming by tonight. Here come your sorrows, all your old regret, every broken promise, every unpaid debt. Perched on your shoulders, yearning for the flame, pour them a glass of whiskey and greet them all by name. Build up the bonfire, now the seasons turn. Welcome in another year and let the old one burn. Build up the bonfire, light the candles bright. All the hungry spirits will be coming by tonight. Now make them welcome, offer them release, offer them atonement, and pray they may find peace. Give them your blessing, but do not let them stay. Beat on the cans and the pots and pans and send them on their way. Build up the bonfire, now the seasons turn. Welcome in another year and let the old one burn. Build up the bonfire, light the candles bright. All the hungry spirits will be coming by tonight.
Thank you so much. Since I announced my retirement, actually, since I first started thinking about when I would retire, I have been reflecting on the question of what makes a good ending. Why does the very phrase, a good ending, sound a little discordant? In my highly unscientific hearsay research, talking with friends and family, and in reading random online reviews from people I don't know at all, I have concluded that the percentage of satisfaction with the way that any given book or movie or TV series ends is about 0.001%. You know what I mean, right? It is a rare thing to hear someone say, and I love the way it ended. Far more common that people say, I loved this, but it really fell apart at the end. The ending was either too abrupt or unnecessarily drawn out, either overly dramatic or anticlimactic. It wrapped things up just a little too neatly, or it left way too many unanswered questions. It became downright sappy in its attempt to be inspirational, or it just ended without offering much of anything. I've further deduced from my unscientific hearsay research that the dissatisfaction expressed regarding particular endings of novels or movies may speak to a more generalized unease regarding endings in real life. Now, we all have opinions, perfectly valid aesthetic assessments of books we read and shows we watch, and that includes our feelings about how they end. But I wonder if part of the seeming difficulty in crafting that which would be considered a good ending in fiction is that we are not very clear on what that would look like in real life. What is a good ending? Endings sound final, after all. Something is over. Something is lost. The endings we may experience as good are those that bring an end to something that has been difficult, distressing, painful, a time, a place, a relationship that we can let go of without remorse. I'm glad that's over, I may say. But if that which is coming to an end is something we have enjoyed, appreciated, cherished even, where is the good in that? Now, sometimes we have little choice about how things end. Some endings are thrust upon us by forces outside our control, and many of those carry sadness or pain, even as they may open the door to unforeseen opportunity or new understanding. This lack of control or even creative participation in many endings we face, unexpected death of a loved one being a prime example, this leads us, I think, to be wary of endings in general. But for those endings that are chosen, where we have the ability to co-create, at least amid the swirl of other factors involved in this thing called life, to shape our time, if not all our circumstances, to write the ending we wish or as close as possible, how do we make it good? I feel very privileged to be able to make this decision to retire, not from a place of dissatisfaction or disappointment or frustration, but while I still deeply love ministry and this congregation. I love this. I am indeed proud and pleased to serve as minister of this congregation and will continue to be so right up through June 30th, 2025, after which I will be proud and pleased to have served as minister of this congregation. I love the ministry and I love this congregation. And that makes it hard too, right? It makes it hard to say goodbye. But hard isn't bad. And delaying goodbye for fear of it being difficult to say is not always good. For instance, I have shared in some other sermons about my experiences growing up with what is known sometimes as the Minnesota goodbye. The Minnesota goodbye is not, in the words of Ellen Goodman, a graceful exit. It is rather an extended exercise in uncertainty. Are we leaving? Or are we just getting ready to leave, which are very different things? We would be at my grandmother's house, and I could tell when my father started shifting in his chair and looking out the kitchen window toward our car parked in the driveway that he was thinking it was time to go. He would then sit up in his chair and say, well, I suppose, looking meaningfully at my mother, who would probably be at the sink drying dishes while she talked to her mother, who was sitting at the kitchen table. Having repeated this a couple times to no avail, my father would stand and begin jangling the car keys in his pocket. I will spare you further details this time around, but suffice to say that the time that elapsed from my father's initial, admittedly indirect announcement of, well, I suppose, to getting the car in drive and moving toward the highway was routinely over an hour, sometimes much more. There were so many things that happened in between that it was sometimes hard to make myself believe we had actually left and would not round the block and return for one thing or another. And while I look back on these visits fondly, I also realized that the Minnesota goodbye did not really prepare me very well for dealing with endings. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a whole lot of love expressed in those experiences, but there was also a feeling that bringing the visit to an end by leaving was somehow shameful. I realized that for the most part, we avoided the very word leaving. My father's, well, I suppose, and my mother's, I suppose it's about that time, left the word unspoken, while the suppose made it less a decision than a resigned surrender to forces outside our control. It was rare, even amidst all the leaving time conversation, to hear a direct goodbye spoken. The closest we came was my grandmother saying, bye-bye, bye bonds, which I guess was how Bob Hope signed off his radio show during World War II, encouraging people to buy war bonds. See, this is a history lesson or never. And I don't mean for this to be a therapy session for your minister as he works out family dynamics from his childhood. The good ending that I am talking about here includes me, but it is decidedly not all about me. It is about us. Hopefully, my early notice of retirement has not turned this into a Minnesota goodbye. I don't think so. I was happy to be able to notify you all early because I know that there's a lot involved in ministerial transition on many levels: practical, emotional, psychological, spiritual. There's a lot that goes on with these transitions. I want to provide all of the ministerial support it is appropriate for me to provide in that process. And I also want to explicitly savor this final year with you and to do all that I can to make this a good ending, and everything that I can in making this a bright new beginning for this congregation. a beginning. To make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from, writes poet T.S. Eliot. To make an end is to make a beginning. Sharing further the results of my unscientific hearsay research, I will posit that our dissatisfaction with most endings of novels and movies and shows is that we understand that no ending is really the end. To make an end is to make a beginning. At the end of every story, the same question comes to my mind. Then what? That is why I love sequels, right? I just know the story continues. And they lived happily ever after is not an ending to a story. It is a very lazy, poorly written sequel. Reverend Deborah Hafner's replacement for And They Lived Happily Ever After, and it was a lot of work, is truer to life, if similarly lacking in details. But part of the beautiful opportunity we have in creating a good ending to the story of our time together is to know that making an end is also making a beginning. Every exit line is an entry, Ellen Goodman writes, as she acknowledges the difficulty of goodbyes. It's hard to recognize that life isn't a holding action, but a process. It's hard to learn that we don't leave the best parts of ourselves behind. I don't think creating a good ending means that we pretend that it's easy. I think it means holding the sadness of parting along with the excitement about what will come next. I think it means thanking one another for this opportunity to grow into our ministry, minister and congregation alike, and celebrating the road we have traveled together. We own what we have learned back there, Goodman writes. The experience and the growth are grafted onto our lives. And we don't need to rush the goodbyes. I'm still here for another 6 months. Gee, maybe this is a Minnesota goodbye. I promise not to jangle my keys the whole time. We have lots of good work to do together over these coming months, and I look forward to connecting with you in that work, in small groups, small group gatherings, individually, however it can happen. I am filled with gratitude for all that you are and all that you share with me, with one another, and with the world. And I do plan to savor these months with you. While this congregation has and will experience many different kinds of endings, our mission of deepening connections by nurturing spiritual growth, practicing justice, and inspiring joy, that is to make a beginning every day. As Leslie Takahashi writes, all that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the edge of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share. As this year comes to an end, may we recommit ourselves to all that we aspire to create. That is where we start from. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit and join in singing Deck the Halls. The old year passes.
La
It's on here somewhere. Please join with me in saying the words we use each Sunday as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
These are the words of Maureen Killeran. As we weather winds of change, may we have wisdom to cherish moments of stillness. As we recollect times of challenge and of pain, may we remember also the graceful blessings of our lives. As we look to future unknowns, may we have the boldness to trust that there is unimagined good yet to come. Enjoy the postlude and go in peace and joy and love and go singing.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne? For old lang syne, my Jo, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne, and surely he'll be your pint stop, and surely I'll be mine, and we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. We twain run about the braes and put the gowans fine, but we wandered mony a weary fit sin old lang syne. We twain old in the burn from morning sun till dawn. The seas between us spread heroin, sin old lang syne. Oh, and there's a hand, my trusty fiel, and gies the hand o' thine, and will take a right good willy what for old lang syne. For old lang syne.
Happy New Year.